Customers of Manila Electric Company may have to shell out more to pay their power bills this month due to higher generation charges. Just like in November, the hike in generation charge triggered a new round of increase in power rates, reaching 10 centavos per kilowatt-hour. This brought the overall rate for a typical household to 11 pesos and 96 centavos per kilowatt-hour from the previous month's 11 pesos and 86 centavos per kilowatt-hour. According to Meralco Vice President and Head of Corporate Communications Joe Zaldariaga, households consuming 200 kilowatt-hour may see an increase of 21 pesos in their electricity bill this December. President Bongbong Marcos says he would wait for the proper resolution of discussions with Indonesia before making any announcements about the return of Mary Jane Veloso. In an interview on Tuesday, December 10, the president was asked if Veloso might return to the Philippines before Christmas. Marcos says,
"We were asked by the Indonesian government that not to make any announcements until everything is settled. So let's respect that request."
Last Friday, December 6, Indonesia and the Philippines signed an agreement for Veloso's repatriation. Meanwhile, Department of Justice spokesperson and Assistant Secretary Dominic Labano IV earlier said that the Indonesian government had expressed its intent to send Veloso back home before Christmas. According to Labano, there are no conditions seem to have been imposed by Indonesia in allowing the return of Veloso back to the country. Veloso was arrested in 2010 at Adisucipto International Airport in Yogyakarta after authorities found her in possession of more than 2.6 kilograms of heroin. Veloso was sentenced to death but was spared in 2015 after Philippine officials appealed to then-Indonesian President Joko Widodo to allow her to testify against members of a human and drug smuggling syndicate in Manila. Manila 3rd District Representative Joel Chua says over 1,900 names found in the acknowledgement receipts for confidential funds expenditures of the Office of the Vice President were submitted to the Philippine Statistics Authority for verification. Chua, who heads the House Committee on Good Government and Public Accountability, says that the Philippine Statistics Authority will look into the civil registry records of 1,992 individuals linked to the alleged misuse of the Office of the Vice President's confidential funds under the helm of Vice President Sara Duterte. The panel already conducted 8 hearings to probe the spending of confidential funds for the Office of the Vice President and the Department of Education. Earlier, Chua revealed that 405 of the 667 names found on the acknowledgement receipts for the confidential funds of the Department of Education have no record with the Philippine Statistics Authority. Findings from the Philippine Statistics Authority also revealed that certain Mary Grace Piatos and Kokoy Villamin have a negative record of birth, marriage, and death in the PSA Civil Registry System database. Mary Grace Piatos and Kokoy Villamin were among the names that surfaced during the investigation of the panel. Former Negros Oriental Representative Arnolfo Teves Jr. will again appeal the decision of the Timor-Leste Court of Appeals granting his extradition to the Philippines, according to Teves' legal counsel, Attorney Ferdinand Topacio. In an interview on Tuesday, December 10, Topacio says that the decision of Teves' extradition to the country lies in the court of lawyers in Timor-Leste.
The ball is in the court of our lawyers in Timor-Leste. But of course, I'm almost certain that we will file an appeal. And the appellate process will be underway pretty soon.
Last week, the Department of Justice announced that the Timor-Leste court again granted the Philippine government's extradition request against the former lawmaker. The DOJ says the decision came after a second round of hearings. But Topacio says their camp remains hopeful that the Timor-Leste court's decision will be reversed.
We don't know. Kaya nga, I do not know where the confidence of the DOJ is coming from. Do they know something that we do not? If there is something going on and there are influences being brought to bear on the judiciary of Timor-Leste, mabigat po yun.
According to Topacio, Teves is no longer under house arrest. He adds that Teves cannot leave Timor-Leste because his passport has been cancelled. Furthermore, Topacio says that the Timor-Leste government cannot deport Teves because he entered the country legally and has not committed crimes under Timor-Leste's law. The DOJ remains optimistic that the Timor-Leste court would affirm its ruling. Teves has been charged with the 2023 murder of Negros Oriental Governor Roel Degamo and 9 others in what is now known as the Pamplona Massacre. Teves long denied the charges. He refused to return to the Philippines, saying he was subject to political persecution. The Department of Health warns the public of possible health hazards that may develop following the eruption of Kanlaon Volcano. The DOH leadership has ordered its Centers for Health Development to step up their coordination with local government units, enhance surveillance, and prepare for potential disruptions due to Kanlaon's explosion. In a statement on Tuesday, December 10, the DOH enumerated the potential health risks following the volcanic blast. This includes respiratory illnesses, eye and skin irritation, and water contamination. Health Secretary Teodoro Herbosa says the agency's immediate concerns are ashfall and potential lahar should the pyroclastic density currents encounter water. Herbosa encourages affected residents to practice health measures such as wearing of N95 masks or any readily available masks and eye protection like goggles. He also advises affected residents to avoid using contaminated water, do frequent hand washing, and ensure thorough preparation for food. The DOH also says they have instructed local hospitals and health facilities to prioritize the admission of pregnant women in their third trimester, especially those with complications, and for the Centers for Health Development to ensure a sufficient supply of N95 masks, eye protection, water purification tablets or filters, medicines, hand sanitizers, and antiseptic wipes. Furthermore, Herbosa urges residents around the volcano to heed the advice of local authorities and to stay updated by monitoring notices from official channels of concerned government agencies. According to the Philippine Institute of Volcanology and Seismology, the volcano had an explosive eruption from its crater around 3:03 p.m. on Monday, December 9, prompting the state volcanologist to raise the alert level to 3, indicating magmatic unrest. Defense Secretary and National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council Chairperson Gilberto Teodoro Jr. had instructed evacuation operations for approximately 87,000 affected residents.